Welcome to Tapped In, our weekly live show and podcast exploring creativity, embodiment, and life after unraveling. My name is Siobhan. We have my co-host Midori and our wonderful guest Chibuzo here today. Before we get into it, just taking a moment to take a breath, get settled into the space with us here today because we are going to be having a party, really. And I will let Midori ring us in with all the love and magic she holds.
You are now tapped into the soft power frequency.
All right. Welcome. This is another exciting week. Last week we had Jazz the Sun Fairy as our first guest, and today we have our second guest, Chibuzo, the founder of Prima Dom, the writer, editor-in-chief, and just all-around icon. We are all three in a program called Witch and Famous with Captolia, the brand Witch, which is how we connected recently. And when we thought about who we wanted to bring on as our first guest, Chibuzo was top of the list. Before we get into all that, if you're new here, my name is Siobhan Duras. I am a mother. I am a birth coach and the founder of the Birth Realm, which is a spiritual, political, and scientific childbirth and family community. And I'll let Midori introduce herself.
I'm Midori. I'm an artist alchemist. I'm an astrologer, as well as Chicago's newest friendly neighborhood witch. And I conduct one-on-one readings virtually and in person. And as we had mentioned, we have Chibuzo here that I'm going to read off her bio that she provided for us here. Chibuzo is the voice behind Quiet Wisdom and is a sacred artist designing spaces for wild, creative expression to flourish. Chibuzo, a working actor, model, writer, and dancer, has known this to be her path since she was a kid, who discovered she could create a different world with just a pen. Soon after it was acting, and she hasn't looked back. Since then, she's been on stage as the Great Detective, Sherlock Holmes, and Benithia in Raisin in the Sun, amongst other roles. Her most recent on-camera credits include a feature in a short series about quirky empty nesters and a role as a scream queen in an independent thriller. Now, Chibuzo has set her sights on being more than a muse, creating her own imprint with spaces dedicated to heart-liberating expression. Real relation happens when we take the muzzle off of our souls and share its truth. And that's all we want. That's why we watch movies, sing songs. That's all we want. Welcome, Chibuzo.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Like I said, we knew we wanted.
I just want to let you two know. Exactly. Okay, I just want to let y'all know that my thing is lagging behind, so if I talk over you, I'm sorry, but I'm catching up a little bit late. Okay, boom.
Cool. Well, all I was going to say is that Midori and I were just raving about the latest Prima Dom. It's especially just the phrase, I went to Florida voluntarily. It made me crack up as somebody who used to live in Florida and who married someone from Florida and has a child that is a little Floridian. I was dying at that and just telling everyone, you must subscribe to Chibuzo's email. You have, for me, revolutionized the way an email newsletter feels, and it's just so multi-sensory. I laugh at least 12 times, and we just rave about it every time. We're texting each other did you see the latest Prima Dom? It's so good. So
I also want to preface that the branding of your newsletter, your email sign-up form, is enter the esoteric Patty's dungeon, to preface this all. And I think that's just such a testament to what it's about. You bring the bad bitch.
Look where we are. Hello.
Esoteric.
Thank you so much. And I just want to say, I'm glad I get the chance to say this because majority the reading that you did a live a couple of weeks ago, and I hopped in, and I think it was just like when you moved to Chicago, and you were just like giving out, you know, readings on the fly. I really appreciated what you said for me because it's kind of like echoing this, and I think it's given me the confidence because I've never really like built my own community before, and to like know because you two are two people who tell me frequently and like support and hop in my DMs and let me know how much you appreciate it. So it's like hearing things like that, and to reference back to your live, it's like you know it's like you guys are like
Mm.
Mm.
think whatever she thinks, but to like know it has like actual impact for like two badasses of like you. It's yeah, I might keep
Mm.
doing it.
Please keep doing it. We need it in our lives. We need to be reminded that we are in the dungeon of baddies. So I love it. And how we love to start off
Period.
every week is with a celebration. So we'll just let you go first. What are you celebrating this week, today, life lately?
Okay, so my celebrations, they kind of feel like, no, I'm not gonna, let me let them rock, let me let them ride. Okay, so I guess like recently there was kind of like a crazy situation with my family, and I'd never been like in such an adult role before, but I just like stepped up and did the shit and got it done, and I just feel like such like, I just feel like nobody can say shit to me. You can't say shit to me, okay? Because I just did that, okay? And that's like a real move, okay? Fuck your car and whatever. That's a real move, okay? So like I'm really proud of myself because of that. And I don't know, I guess just like building this so far and like showing up for it. Like I guess historically I tend to not do that as much. So like the momentum of this is pretty fucking awesome. Yeah.
Resonating a lot with that. Midori and I actually just texted this morning about witnessing the growth in how we respond to our family things because we both, everybody has their thing with their family, probably.
Yeah, for sure.
But there were some instances this past week or so that really press those triggers. And I actually want to get into astrology a little bit because we were thinking before, like, wait, we actually don't know, like, we don't really know anything about your chart, your placements. But yeah, just I'll let Midori lead on the astrology part. But I'm celebrating the same thing. I'm celebrating Jupiter moving into Taurus as a Sag rising because I feel like my year is literally just starting this week. I feel like the
Mm,
switch was flipped for me
mm,
Monday morning, and I'm finally like, I don't know,
mm.
just feeling energetically renewed personally.
Yes. Wow. Yeah, I definitely am also celebrating. There's been a lot of themes of family for me as well. My family came and visited this past week and they left just yesterday. And I really am celebrating the way that I've just like not taken on anything that I don't need to. Like stayed in my lane and also feeling speaking to what you're saying, Siobhan, about like this materialization of like all this dreaming and like actionable stuff I've been doing and all the work I've been doing. It's like materializing now. I feel it like literally yesterday for me. I feel like something like, yeah, the switch flipped on. So I'm also echoing both of you in that.
Mm, love. So wait,
Let's
I want to ask then,
go.
what are your big astrology placements that you want to share with us?
Okay. So I recently started going by the Vedic one, so let me start there. I mean, it's Virgo sun anyway you go. Anyway you look, it's the Virgo sun. The moon, Sag moon, team Sag moon. And then my rising, I am a Libra rising. Yeah. What are your three?
Mm. Well, we always talk about our, I don't know what you would call it, Placidus, is it? But I'll share my Vedic because I don't know too much, but I know what the placements are. And for me, it's Gemini Sun, what is it again? Capricorn moon, Scorpio rising in Vedic, with a stacked Cancer 8th house, like Mercury, Mars, Venus, Jupiter, all of that.
Yeah, mine is Aries sun and
Nice.
rising and Gemini moon in Vedic. Traditional, I'm an Aries sun, Taurus rising, Cancer moon, which I remember. So people tell me their chart once, and I remember looking at your placements in the Discord at Witch and Famous, and I know that in traditional, I think you're Scorpio rising, Cap moon, Virgo sun. Is that right?
I see both.
Yeah,
You're good. What the
yeah.
fuck?
She's so good at remembering that.
It's like I won't remember your name, but I'll remember your placements, like 1,000,000%. Yeah.
So she doesn't actually know your name.
That's all right. I'll respond to you just saying my placements. Midori, that's funny that you're an Aries like sun and rising though, because I guess like compared to like you don't seem like an Aries. Siobhan, what do I not know? What are we not seeing about Midori and like her being an Aries sun and rising?
Oh, you don't see her excitement in the day-to-day, like the fucking amped and juiced off life energy that she is very Taurus rising. I will say, like, I do see you very Taurus as like your general energy, but the way you like turn it on, and she knew this when we first became friends, as I have an Aries sun mom, that I'm like, oh my god, like Aries energy triggers me with this like, let's fucking go, and which is totally her. Like she'll turn it on.
Can
And
see
the
that now. I
leadership,
can absolutely see. I can see Midori.
Sure.
I can see Midori like fucking like parkouring off the walls now. I can see. I don't know how I missed the energy before, but now that I can see it now.
Okay, so this is speaking to what you had mentioned on your Instagram, Chibuzo, because me and Siobhan are just like so tapped into you online, obviously. Like why we have you here is you were talking about your MC and Leo.
Ditto.
Your MC and Leo.
Oh yeah.
My MC is an Aquarius, right? So online, I think I am perceived very like Aquarian, very fixed. To the world, I think I'm very Venusian, but like I think, similar to what you were talking about, like, people probably perceive you a certain way because of your MC, which is the height of where the sun is the brightest in your chart in the middle of the day. So it's interesting. Like, can you talk about that a little bit? Like your Leo MC versus like your Virgo sun, like speaking to the last post you were talking about.
I feel like that Leo MC. I have a lot of Leo placements actually, and well, if I were to look at like the tropical, but I think that they still kind of translate to the Vedic. I'm not too like studied in astrology. I did study for some time, but I feel like they have like a relationship. So like that Leo energy that was in the tropical chart, it definitely shows up in the Vedic, and like the MC, of course, and like a few other places. But I feel like sometimes people see like a lion energy, and it's like that's cool, but also she's also a tiny black cat, which I feel like is what, people don't know. I feel like that's kind of like the Virgo, like, mold out, like the Leo MC is cool, you know what I'm saying? It's like giving you like this big shadow, like this big light behind you, but it's like no, this is it.
I see both, definitely. I think this is like the people need to experience. If you're listening to this just audio, you need to experience the whole visual experience of Chibuzo as well, because you have this like way of communicating that is also very psychic and like feeling into it. You have like and that's, I think, speaking to your acting, like your acting muscle that you've developed. It's like you communicate also through your body language, and yeah, so I'm just noticing that now, and it's really cool to witness.
I've been
Like
really
interested
now, so I have to... in this like the duality of, and I think this is why Vedic astrology is so interesting to me looking at tropical versus Vedic charts, because as someone who hasn't studied astrology beyond like being friends with Midori and listening to podcasts, I really am fascinated by that like transitory energy between two signs. And I think that's why it's so easy to see both. And I think for me and my work, I really play in like the Cancer Leo area and like that little corner, whereas you describing the Leo to Virgo like transition and relationship, I guess is a better word. That's been so fascinating to me because I don't actually know too much about Virgo energy. But I loved seeing that, like the development, the maturity, the growth of what a Leo can turn into, especially as somebody who feels like I'm like similarly seen, or maybe I more see myself and people see this cancerness, Cancerian energy, but the Leo is also so present. Like if you see my chart, tropical chart, all of that, like Mars, Venus, Jupiter is in Leo, ninth house. That I'm like, okay, like I see it here.
Nice.
This like
Nice.
development of the maturity of something. Because that's something that surprised me when I first started learning about astrology. Is like, oh, like I would never think Cancer and Leo were so similar, Leo and Virgo. But there is this like very nuanced, like maturity that
Hmm.
like naturally kind of leads in.
That's a beautiful way of saying that. I definitely see the cancer. I see the cancer energy strong in you, probably because you already like touch like birth work and do like, mother, you're associated with like the mother energy a lot. It's very strong. It's very strong, but I think in a dynamic way that like cancer needs, cancer needs Leo to be like cancer, the crab needs that kind of friend. The crab needs that kind of energy. Yeah.
Yeah. Looking back, I used to always, before, like when my knowledge of astrology was only sun signs, I had so many Leo friends that I was like thinking, like, oh, like, why do I always attract these type of people? And now I'm like, it makes so much sense. And even seeing the development of my work, I'm like, oh, yeah, like what I want out of like to share on mothering and care work is this like you're a caregiver and that makes you a ruler when you master that caregiving. Like you're the ruler, you're the empress, emperor, leader of the family, of the household, like king of the castle energy. So that's just fun. Midori, if you had to play in like one little thing, what would you say it is for you?
Mm. I do think it is Aries into Taurus because I get really excited by a lot of things, and it's like the stability of and consistency of Taurus to actually materialize those ideas is like what I think I'm being called into right now. Like, oh, I could initiate and have a ton of ideas and be really inspired all the time, but if I'm not actually like taking consistent practical action, then it's not going to happen. And that's like kind of the story of my life, and what I'm working through is like the patience to like do something longer term.
Yeah,
That's
I see
admirable
that.
though. That's a transition and you got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about Virgo going into, or oh my God, Leo going into Virgo, do you feel like that you identify with, Chibuzo?
Is oh man, that lion ego. Oh man, sometimes I just like want to let her through. And it's funny, sometimes I do, and it's like, oh, girl, you did not play that right. That was not the right time. The Virgo is just shaking her head like we could have held that in just a little bit longer. We needed that job, you know what I'm saying? We needed that. We needed to not do that. But okay, you felt that. I'm glad you expressed that. That's great. Now we got to go find a job. That's definitely like the Leo energy to Virgo sometimes, but it's good. I feel like they're like battling twin sisters and like somehow they're each like very strong. They're both like very strong in like different ways. And sometimes I feel like because it is Leo and Leo, so like I'm the ruler, Leo's not going to Leo's not exactly going to just like lay down and take it, because Leo knows like I'm qualified to do this. I'm your equal. I'm your equal. I'm great too. So let me bring my skills to the table. They may be a little bit rough, but I have skills. And like versus the Virgo who knows like
Mhm.
service is always the thing, so everybody has a purpose. Okay, we can share. You you have some polishing to do, but it's fine. You're a good partner. Yeah, I feel like they kind of, I have honestly no idea what I just said. I just like opened my mouth and just like let some stuff out. So I really hope that that made sense.
It does, 100%. I feel like you're speaking to, yeah, the service and like kind of the organizing principle of Virgo, and the desire to move towards perfection. And Leo's out here like, we're just gonna throw it against the wall and be witnessed and seen in like our authenticity. And that's like such a beautiful combination to have both energies in your field.
Also, Tapped In is intentionally live because we are all channels and everyone we invite on are channels, and we just create that energy and let it ride. And I feel like that's why it makes more sense in the moment, because it's like, yeah, it's hitting. Even if I like black out sometimes and I'm like, what did we even talk about today? But it was the message of the day.
Totally. Oh, I think Chibuzo might be frozen.
Also, the baby fat shirt I just noticed and I'm really loving. While we wait for Chibuzo's connection to, oh, there we go.
There we go.
Hello. Oh no, we can't hear you. It sounds like a robot.
It sounds like a robot.
Which is kind of cool, but I can't make out what you're saying.
I wonder. Hold on. It was working before, so I wonder if something happened here.
How's this?
Oh,
That's better.
That's better?
Yeah, there we go.
okay.
Okay, let's rock.
Sweet. Well, then let's take that opportunity to steer us back to what we shared as kind of like the jumping off point of this show, which is unraveling and the life that comes after. And unraveling is really like layered and broad, I'm sure, but I would love to hear the version of your story that's coming through right now when you hear that concept of like what it's been like for you to unravel certain parts of you, certain like what have you been unraveling, and what is like that commitment now of like being such a tapped in channel and knowing that this is part of your calling to step up, and you're offering soul support, which will I want to hear you share more about too. But what have you been unraveling? Or maybe it's more of what
Okay,
unraveled for
so
you that got you where you're at right now.
basically everything just did not, I don't know, I guess I just felt like I was kind of like jumping from like tree to tree ever since I graduated high school, to be freaking honest. Like, and that feels like so crazy and even like a little bit embarrassing to say, because my dad's professor and he's an immigrant and he came here and like built this legacy with like three kids, and my family's been crazy and whatnot, and we've had our own like stuff to figure out, but I guess I always like saw myself like going. Like, we've already established I'm a Virgo, so maybe like you can guess like I've had like this plan, all this stuff that I thought like my life needed to look like, was going to look like, and it was very like, it was very, this is where you will end up. And then I don't know what happened. I graduated high school and I just felt like there is nothing, like it just didn't make sense anymore. And maybe because I went to such like a rigorous high school where it was like, I don't know what the experience was for a lot of my other classmates, but I know I just never really felt like I was good enough. So I was like, for 2 years straight, I was just I was just like in a very like stressful headspace, like needing to prove that I deserve to be there, and needing to like prove. And I just got to college, and it just was like I don't know. I didn't really know kind of zest for life in anything. But then somehow I found like acting again. I didn't really know like what I wanted to like I had crazy dreams and stuff, of course, 'cause like I wanted to be an actor when I was a kid and like I did like plays and stuff, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, obviously this is what's gonna happen, this is gonna happen, this is gonna be the thing. Um, so it kind of felt like that for a while. This is gonna be the thing, this is gonna be the thing in college and you know, like life happens. It didn't happen the way that I thought it would happen. So it was just unraveling. I feel like of course there's been joy and like so much like lessons learned, but just like in this like the decade of my 20s, it just feels like the whole thing has been like just fucking yarn, you know what I'm saying? And just like now it feels like everything is coming together to like make some kind of sense, to like show their place, to show where they fit, to show how they can like support and be, you know, be what they're supposed to be to each other. Um, yeah.
Mm. What was it that interrupted this belief growing up that you were born to act?
Hmm.
Not born to act, maybe, but you know, that was your path.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know, or maybe I do know, and there's just like a blank spot there. I don't know, but it makes me like sad to think about it. TBH makes me sad to think about it. I don't know,
Mm.
because I was like a really happy kid, and yeah, I really wanted that. Um, and like I feel for that kid sometimes, you know, that's why I have to go super hard and like show them it's cool. You can have it at any time.
Yeah, Midori and I have talked about this interest in acting as well when we were young. So maybe I'll flip that question to Midori because I know we have answers for that. Like, what is it that interrupted? You shared, I think, last week or the week before about how you were like at the mall telling your mom, like, I want to do this and like wanting to go to auditions and find an agent. And, you know, what was it that interrupted that dream for you?
Yeah, it was really my parents, like similar to what Chibuzo was saying. Like my parents took jobs that were very like quote unquote like financially secure or safe. You know, like my mother's an accountant, my father is a pharmacist, like very uh very normal, quote unquote, normal jobs. And so when I expressed interest in performing and acting and singing and painting and all the arts, period, it was like, oh, that's cute. That's a side thing. Like it's something that you do on the weekend. It's something you do when you have spare time, but don't take it that seriously because it's not going to bring you income when you grow up. And also, I do think that there was a lot, my parents, you know, did not think that I would do well because I didn't fit the Eurocentric ideals of beauty. Um, you know, so I think it was multi-layered and it just came from their fear of not having ever like their artistic or creative pursuits ever affirmed. So it's like if they don't have that in their lives, like how would they validate in that in my life? Um and yeah, it's still something that they're working through. They just came. My parents just visited me this past weekend, and my mom expressed that she really is interested in being more creative, and it surprised me because growing up, all she did was work and sleep and cook and then go work out at the gym. Like there was no time for anything else. So it was definitely like a capitalism thing where you don't have time to even like anything creative is like second, third, fourth, fifth priority to like what is going to keep you safe and make you money. Um so yeah, I think that was the big disruptor for me. And yeah, especially being interested in it in like middle school when I like already started to get a lot of blocks in my voice and speaking because of like just being an adolescent human in a very like growing up and not feeling confident in speaking my speaking voice. And there's so many layers to it, but that was kind of the gist of it. That's what I've broken it down into.
Yeah, I'm relating to that. It was definitely my parents trying to, I think, protect me. Like, I did a lot of musical theater as a kid, and I was really good at it. Like, I was always a lead, I was always getting the solo, and my parents actually, like, really, really believed in me. My mom did, actually. My mom, like, really believed in me, and then it was my dad who was like, girls that look like you don't do stuff like that. Like, and I think he projected a lot of his body image fears as a bigger dude onto me, and telling me that, you know, if that fear that if I were to be more visible, that I would somehow discover that I'm not like classically attractive, which I didn't need that to find that out. That was like given to me by every message at the mall, at on the TV, like, you know, like, this isn't
Fuck
ground.
y'all. Fuck y'all. Okay. I'm sorry, but fuck you. Fuck you. Look at her, bitch.
Literally, thank you, because that was really it, was that. And then my mom eventually, I think too, just financially, like, you know, the time and the commitment required of parents to like audition and go to classes and all these things. But yeah, it was totally that. And then being surrounded by people that were really talented, like my friends. My best friend in high school was like that bitch in theater, like, so talented. And me thinking like this constant, like, well, I need to find the thing that I'm the best at, and there's all these other people that are better, so let me just keep searching for the thing I'm the best at. And that too, kind of being like, bitch, you're allowed to have fun, like, you don't have to be the best. That was like true. That was my conditioning. Like, you're here to be the best.
Yeah. Dang, Chibuzo, that's why I really admire your work. Like what you share, I think resonates so much with me because you have this like ferocity of expression that like the minute you did your intro in the Witch and Famous Discord chat, I was like already fascinated because you just like radiate self-expression. You just radiate this like ability to like take up space, at least online. And I don't know if this is like something, I'd be so interested to hear like what your journey was to that, or if you've always felt like you had the capacity to take up space online or, you know, in person or as a performer. But like I just see you and I'm like, oh, like I really feel like that is my journey to like be even more like, there's been so many like layers of an onion that I've had to pull back to like get to the space now where I can share more and share myself portraits that are a little more nude, or share myself like share more my voice. Like I'm so curious about your unfolding as a performer and being seen and being able to take up space.
Yo, ditto. I see in you, Midori. Yeah. Yeah. You're that bitch. Yeah. It's giving goddess, and I can't wait to see that like just everywhere. Like just they can't get enough of it. Like they get sick of it. Like that's what I want to see it like that. Yeah.
Oh, she already has fans. Both of y'all have fans that are like, and it's me. I'm the fan club president, actually. But also generally, I'm like, I know it's out there. People are like, give me more of whatever. Like, I am so starving for this. Like, yeah. Chibuzo, as you were talking about this and like back to the Virgo concept here, I was just thinking about like how healing that like seems of just like you being this very Virgo, you know, child growing into adult and being like, huh, before I can master this, like I'm gonna backtrack a little bit and I need to like unleash this Leo. I need to like let this fierce one free. Were you really fierce as a child growing up, or what was your demeanor like? I know your handle is quiet wisdom, so I'm like, were you quiet? Well, you still are softer. You are
That's
soft in your demeanor, I think, in a lot of ways. You have a fierceness that is still like quiet-ish. Like quiet, the kind that's quiet that makes you want to lean in.
that was so delicious. It was so delicious. Thank you. Okay, so when you asked that question, like the first thing that came to mind, when I was a kid, I remember I was at McDonald's with my brother and my sister, and it was my sister's birthday. And I don't remember exactly why, but I remember being in line with this small boy, this small little white boy. And for some reason, I think he tried to kiss me. And then the next thing I remember, people were telling me that I punched him in the face. So. That is very funny because I think like that has always been like something deep down inside of me. But no, like as a child and like even as a teenager, I've kind of just been like it's like 50-50. And I think that's what freaks people out because you don't know which one you're gonna get. Like I could punch you in the face or I could just be like the quiet kid in the corner. Yeah.
And I think that's true
Yeah.
for a lot of actors. So, what is it about you that loves acting?
Um, that's too like that's like the whole thing. That's like the whole freaking thing. Like I don't know, I find so much like life lessons in acting. It's like it's not just one thing. It's like I think about like balance and then like strength and then like harmony and then like like value and like service and it's like acting is like everything that just feels like is important. I can find it in there somehow and like dig it out,
Mm.
even like the really shitty moments. And it's like that's the only way I want to learn is like through that. And I know that passion like sometimes has been like a lot, but I'm embracing it. I'm embracing it. I think it's a gift, and I think it's I think it's needed. It's what I want to give to it.
Mm. I love that. And I guess my follow up to give more specific direction is I want to hear more about acting as service because I don't think I've heard anybody really talk about it that way before. But I'm really curious to hear how that has emerged as an act of service for you.
Okay, so I feel like when I watch people who like I really like, and I'm just gonna like some people who are like the top of my mind, like Sydney Sweeney, and like your like old stars too, like really old stars, like the classic stuff. Like I don't know when you watch these people, it's like they're like a team. It's like they move as one. I watched Singing in the Rain for the first time last week, and felt like I was watching like a dance and like a freaking like football match. They're all just like moving as one, and even though they're like two stars, it's like they are just as important to this part. Like the people over there know that they are just as important. They have to do their part to like make this look good because if that person over there isn't doing their part, then everything's going to be thrown off and like everybody has to be tapped in. Like it's very psychic and you have to be like on the same you have to because you have to want to accomplish the thing and you have to bring the right kind of energy to it. And it's really funny because acting is like a very special place because a lot of egos get tossed in it and it can be like very raw and it's so funny because it's like it's right on the line. Like if you do this well, the benefits that will come from it are so great. The rewards are so beautiful. The service that you can bring, the way you can change people's lives, the way you can inspire people and influence people. But if you just step off that line just a little bit, you know what I'm saying? I don't mean to make it so like black and white or hard or not hard, but I think that it like from the outside looking in, it's been that way for actors and like which is why there's like because like celebrity and all this shit just like unnecessary. I mean, I don't know that I'd say that because celebrity, I'm like fascinated by it, but I don't know, like just with the ego of acting, it's a thin line. It's a thin line.
Mm. Do you desire celebrity as an outcome of your acting career?
100%.
Claim it,
Love.
boo.
And I love what you said. Like, it is so true. I know it isn't so like black and white on that, but it is true. Like, when people don't hit it, it's like when people get it right, it's so palpable and like like evokes so much. And when they don't, it's just like, okay, that was cool. Like, and Singing in the Rain actually is just a perfect
Yeah,
example. Like, that era of the way, like, obviously given like the most, nepotism and gatekeeping on who was in
yeah,
there, but Gene
yeah.
Kelly, like the
Mm,
ability, like, it is an alchemy to like feel a room and alchemize the energy into a moment. Like, that scene, the Singing in the Rain, is like, to me, it's so fucking iconic. Like, that the way that they like liberate themselves, while it is magic, you're right, like, you have to be tapped in to both allow yourself to like release the inhibition to express while still being so attuned to everything happening around you, that it isn't just about you. Like, you just connected that dot for me, like, wow, that is such an act of service, such an act of alchemy. It's like how I see facilitation a lot of times. Like, I think a lot about facilitation as like spell casting. Like, you have, like, there's this moment is only possible right now, and if we can get it right, it's an experience people will be talking about forever. And like, I wasn't even alive when we weren't alive when Singing in the Rain was made, but it's so like revolutionary in how they, I don't know, just how they did that. Midori, have you seen Singing in the Rain?
I have not, but I'm thinking about just film as a concept of like how powerful it can be because it's something you can replay over and over again,
Mm-hmm.
which is like,
mm,
and I think it's like an
yeah.
experience when you watch it that you're going to have a different takeaway or you're going to have a different experience every time you watch. And there's like meaning making that you take away every single time, and that's like truly like such a beautiful art form. And that is what art is essentially. It's like everyone has their own experience from it, and yeah, to be part of crafting that spell, that like visual multisensory spell that can like be played by like millions of people is like, if it has that reach, like that's pretty powerful. And I think that's why Siobhan and I have always been talking about like the power of media and why we want to get into media as like art and really focus there. So I think it's so cool talking to you about this as someone who's like really in it in other environments and maybe in other contexts too, because we're like kind of solely Instagram, like solely social media right now. So I'm really curious about what that's like. And I also was thinking, this is just like my nonlinear thinking of like, do you feel like you can that becoming another character allows you to unlock something in yourself? Like, I'm just thinking about like, is showing up as Chibuzo sometimes difficult, or is it easier than showing up as a character in terms of like being witnessed?
I feel like I've always like blurred that line, so I can't like say for certain because like I knew I wanted to entertain, I knew I wanted to act, so it was like, okay, I have to sell this, I have to sell this. So I don't know. Sometimes, and I think like whatever kind of block there would be would just be like disbelief in like the character, the character of either like Chibuzo or whoever else. Yeah, that answers
Mm-hmm.
your question.
That was the hard part about acting for me. As when I got to middle school, I remember what actually made me stop going to an acting class was being put in. I was in a class where there was a scene where I was like the dorky girl that was like crushing on this guy. And they paired me with the guy he was hot. Like, and I felt so uncomfortable around it because like the whole character was me like fawning over this guy and him rejecting me, and it felt so like it hit so close to home as a 12-year-old 13-year-old that it actually scared me away from acting because I was just like, oh, like this is too, it felt too personal.
That's fucking awful.
You're like, that was just mean. Like, And I remember telling my mom after, like, I don't think I want to do this. Like, I don't think I want to play a character that, like, you know, and have you ever played a character that was like so
Cringe.
I mean, yeah, like just like that you hated? How do you do a character that you
Yeah.
just like either maybe you hate them because they're so close to you, but even also I'm like, even ones that were like they're so annoying. Like, how do you navigate playing a character that you're just like, I just don't like you?
One of my I had an acting coach who used to say you can't like not like a character because then like how can you play them? And he was very right, I don't which is why I don't really advertise anything that I've done previously.
Mm. You know, that's another convo Midori and I had this morning was about not sharing the things that we didn't feel like represented us and our personal style and things like that. That's like a hard line.
I have a story and just made me realize how fucked up this was. When I was in high school as a freshman in AP English, an English teacher, as one of our assignments, had all the boys in the class ask the girls in the
Mm,
class to be their Juliet. And then they would read the monologue based on the pairing of who they picked. And of course, there was people who didn't get picked, and I was one of them. And so she made the most popular quarterback. She assigned the people, the girls who didn't get asked.
And physically,
it was so bad. And she asked him to ask me, but just because he knew, like he had to ask me as like a second person because
it keeps going. Okay.
yes.
Okay.
And I remember being just mortified.
At what point does she not think maybe I should stop? This should.
And then we had to perform. We had to perform the monologue up in front of the class, and everybody knew he didn't ask me.
Oh my god, I'm just hugging you. First of
Let's give
all,
one up for
just
public
imagine
school.
seeing
Let's
Midori
give
and
one up for
not
public
thinking
school.
you're a bad bitch. Like, God, like signs of a fucking white supremacist town. Like, I'm like,
Oh my god, I remember being so embarrassed and being like, I can't believe that this. I remember just being mad at the teacher. I mean, I've had so many bad teachers in high school, but that was like a peak moment
that's
where I was like, these
awful.
people are so whack. Like, I cannot believe that this is your idea of a fucking assignment. Like, what are you trying to relive your weird? I feel like she was
Yes, they
she
are.
was probably
For fucking
popular
sure.
in high school,
For fucking
and she
sure.
wanted to relive that through being nostalgic and doing this
Girl,
exercise.
that's such a bad look. I feel bad for her. I feel like that's who we should feel
How
sorry for.
embarrassing for her. Oh my gosh. That's terrible. And that's very similar to how I felt in that, but it at least was not in like among my high school classmates. It was like a random acting class, but it was that feeling that was like, y'all know that he is like he's the one and I'm the dork. Like, you guys know, why would you do this? And I think that when I watch movies a lot of times, they have like the little fat kid that everybody's like bullying. And I'm like, how do you prepare your child as a parent of a young actor for something like this? What is the care around that? It's something I wonder about a lot. Because I have a little Leo moon.
Let him have it, Siobhan. Let him have it. Let him have it.
I'm just wondering, how do you navigate that with your kid? Because like I said, my kid, like, I won't be surprised if he wants to be an actor. And I'm just like, oh my God, how would I prepare him for that? Or of course, like the kids who are like, the little cast is like the little bully or like the bad kid or like I don't know, like all the fucked up things. Like, how do you feel about child acting? Actually, it's a broader question.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
It's complicated.
Okay, I feel like I fucking love child actors. Like, no, they're brilliant. They're like brilliant little stars. Like I watched Modern Family not too long ago, like recently, and the best fucking people on the show were the fucking kids. Like they're fucking geniuses. But I feel like to like answer your question, Shaban, about like I feel like when the writing is good, like when the writing gets good and you're not just like putting people into like roles that completely just like objectify them and are like made to like dredge up like some shit from their psyche to make them feel bad so they can get like a fucking shot. I feel like then like the person, the kid, the whoever can actually go out there and like do like a fucking phenomenal job just like pretending, you know what I'm saying? But like some just like some of the way that some stuff is done, like the way that some stuff is done, it's not you can tell, okay, I feel like I don't okay, so I saw a movie. I saw a movie a few weeks ago. I won't say the name, but I saw the movie and before then I just watched Easy A, and I just feel like watching a movie like that, like Easy A, was like you can just like tell there was like a symbiosis, like it was fun, you could tell they were having fun, like everyone was there was having fun. And I feel like when you can see that kind of thing and like it lands, then you know the director or like the writer, you know, like the team was on point, like probably the vibe on set was on point, and that's just as important. Like whatever's happening back there, that's important, and that's really what you're going to see like in front of behind the camera. And then so like after that, right, I saw a different movie and the vibe was different. And I bring this up because there was a kid in that movie, and like in the movie the kid, like I think the kid like ran into like a banister, they like got hit in the head or something, and it was just like it was so fucking unconscious, just like the way it was like portrayed and the way it was captured. It was like kind of low key like condoning violence a little bit. There just wasn't like enough like, you know what I'm saying? There wasn't enough fucking like consciousness in it for it to be like an image that you kind of want to put out there.
Yeah. There's so many irresponsible portrayals and treatments sometimes that are just mind-blowing. And you can, again, you can feel it. Like sometimes I'll watch things and I'm like, I don't even know why, but I feel sick watching this. And then I'll read and it's and this is maybe just psychic stuff that's like, then you're like, oh yeah, because that actor, is a known abuser, or
Hmm.
like just this, whatever it is that you're like, ugh, like take a little responsibility for what y'all are just spitting out there.
Yeah, I'm really
Yes.
excited to know that you're going to be a big player in the game in the industry, because like we need people who are very psychically attuned in their work to shift, yeah, the environments of the film industry, like the relationship like to the work. And I think that's why, so I'm like, so this is such a like vulnerable share, is that that's why I don't actually watch a lot of films, because I'm so highly sensitive that, and Siobhan knows this about me, I'm so highly sensitive that it's really rare for me to find films that I like, because I can tune into that dynamic so quickly, and I'm like, ugh. The majority of films out there are like not filmed, like you were saying, consciously, because I can feel it. Like the dynamic between the actors, there's something weird going on. You can tell the director's just like a misogynist or something. Like the writers were just like trying to make money. Like there's so many layers. But what I really like about your work, Chibuzo, and reading your like reviews on stuff in your newsletter, is like you like are able to like take all of that into account and also still enjoy media. Like, and I think that's where I want to get to, is that I think probably because you
Mhm.
see the mechanics so clearly, you don't take it as seriously. And I think that's like what I'm building my muscle for in daily life. It's like before, when I was first on my spiritual healing journey, I would like avoid everything that didn't feel 100% right in my body. And now I'm kind of building this kind of like energetic ninja, energetic like ability to psychic, what I'm calling like psychic self-defense, that I can still move in the world and be in modern society and like enjoy films and enjoy music that may not be, 100, doesn't feel vibrationally great all the time. Um, yeah, and like that's what I really like about your work, is that you take such you have such a great perspective, like, and you can really break things down, and your reviews feel so like grounded, and you can take what you want from them and learn something from each thing you watch, is kind of like what I'm getting from like the way you study media. And I think media can be such a beautiful way to immerse ourselves in worlds and in fantasy, um, that wouldn't be accessible otherwise. And yeah, I don't know. That was just a word vomit, but that's how I feel about
Well
reading.
said. Well said.
Chibuzo, I would love to hear, when we asked you, you said you wanted to share about acting and entertaining as a soul cure. How has it been a soul cure for you? How did you come to that conclusion?
Um, well, I feel like a lot of lessons, a lot of things don't get through my skull. A lot of things don't get through my skull the first time. I have to like want to, I have to like want to receive it. And I feel like acting is like the one realm where like, like spirit and stuff and like guides, they're like, okay, it's gonna like, I don't know how to explain it, but like it clicks there, like it clicks there. Yeah, yeah. Recently, I joined this acting class that I really love. I really love, and I've never been seen this way before, like by a group of people, and especially not a group of artists, not a group of performers. And I feel so much respect and equanimity and like just unconditional love from these people. And it's like, and they don't even know me. They just give it because they're good at what they do. And it feels like it's healing, like it's just healing this big thing, inside of me to be able to perform around these people and to like be boosted up and even to be like part of spaces like this, to be part of Witch and Famous. I feel like devoting and showing up to acting, it like gave me the confidence and it gave me like some skills to learn how to show myself and share myself and to receive others and to receive from others, in just a way that's like made life so much like more like, yeah, just enjoyable and lovely. And yeah, because I view everything now through like we're like a cast. Yeah.
Hmm. Are you more into like theater or more into film?
My first, my energy is starting to like peter, so I'm sorry, I'm like, what's the word, stuttering a lot. So thank you for being patient with me. I grew up on the stage, like that was the first thing that I really did, and I love that. And I think that at one point in my career, I would just like really like to have like a moment on stage. I don't know, there's just something about it. Film's dope, and like building a cast like around a film is really cool. And I love film. But just like being able to feel your audience too, and like do that back and forth. That's, oh my God.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exhilarating. And again, thinking back to the Virgo thing, I'm like, the repetition, like you saying, like things don't click the first time a lot of times. Like I could see that, like that building of meaning through the repetition of like running lines, of repeating a scene or doing a show like several nights in a row, and how that, literally that is, I was reading around the physiological impact of repetitive prayer, like doing a rosary, and what that can do in our
Mm,
bodies for like the peace that it can bring us, for the things it can unlock. Do you feel that as you like repeat things? And to me, when I think of Virgo, I think of like the mastery of something, and it's such like a devotional act to like do the same thing over and over and let it like just like pry open parts of us.
exactly.
Love. Yeah, you're even just like witnessing you in this storytelling, I'm like, wow, it's like unlocking the clarity of like why I really loved it and also why I was like not aligned for it because I think part of that is like hard for me, the repetitiveness of stuff. So
But maybe, Shaban, because you have a lot of fire energy, you don't have to learn that way. You don't have to learn the same way as somebody else. Maybe you got a lot of like solos and roles. Maybe you
and
don't
that is
need
how I
much.
did it. That's also part of why I struggled with it was like, okay, the discipline and the devotion of this act feels hard or like I feel like I could access it in different
Mm,
venues. Like I'm like streaming feels really good in that way for me. Interviewing feels really good. Karaoke feels really good in that way because it's just like we're out here, we're doing it, we're living in the moment. And I'm just Filipino, so we just love karaoke.
yes, yes. Shaban, can I just say, I think like, and I have a feeling we're gonna get to like see you like, yeah, 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 be like, yeah, come back and do that. I feel like that's like bullshit, low key. That like that people sell that you have to like do this a certain way. You're a fucking star, and the truth is like stars learn differently. It's okay. It's not people want to like gatekeep that like it's like some kind of like fucking you know
Mm,
give you a script, take one take. Mm-hmm. You got it.
yeah. Do you feel like as a working actor that is really supported in the actual like field of the industry?
I think they're like different. I think they're like different tiers, and like people want you to believe like certain things so you don't like actually tap into like your really good stuff that makes you confident so you can go out there and like get your bag and get your roles, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm. There is like a gatekeepy, like, sure, we're going to amplify
Low key.
this, but not you. You're an
And I don't think it's
extra.
on purpose.
Like, yeah.
I just think like people love like the machine of like entertainment, like Hollywood more than they actually care about like what they're doing sometimes. So just kind of like, oh, I can be kind of shitty. It's fine. It gets the job done. But really, that's not even the fucking job.
Mm. You know, that is something we talk about on this show a lot is like the necessity of slowness for like just art and creativity and aligned collaboration to happen and how it's just such a challenge in this world. Even us, like keeping at a regular show, even Midori and I, we've had episodes talking about like our process working. It's like if we're best friends and we like still, you know, not struggle, I wouldn't say, but like have these things that we're so intentional around, like between two people creating a project, it's so hard to fathom how, and I do believe that that's a trajectory that we're on and why we're asking these questions now, because that's our biggest, since we started thinking about soft power together, when Midori shared that vision with me, it was like, wow, how could we transform the way that media and spaces are created without resorting to that hard power of silencing people, of not inviting people to the table, because that would just complicate things, all of these different things. It's such a challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
I
this
think you two
is
pull it off well.
oh, sorry. This is exactly why like these conversations are so cool is because like I think you're the first actor I've talked to, yeah, that's like actively at it, and it's just really it's so cool because I feel like we're gonna see, I hope that people that join us and watch this are gonna follow you and see your unfolding like of really just I just feel the energy like we're really gonna pop off and I'm sorry like it's just I gotta say it. I really see that for you and I think that this is my gift is that I do see people's I see people who are stars, and I think everyone is a star. I do think everyone has a gift, and I just really see it for you, Chibuzo. Like you are going to be the level of success that you want to be because you have that like drive. And I see that like in just, and also the way that you hold yourself is very, there's that quiet dom confidence. That and like this like fascinate, you definitely have some like fascination, glamour, magic going on where it's just like, I'm like, tell us more. Like you're just giving us just enough, just enough. Like you're not out here like spilling everything. And I think that's like actually like so powerful and part of like what I think. Yes, it's like hot. It's that like divine push and pull.
This is Tapped In is a public archive for epic glow ups, and that's what this is going to live as.
We're marking that. This is going to be clipped.
Oh yeah, don't let me forget that.
I got it. I timestamped that. So just so you know, Chibuzo,
stardom.
Yeah, I really see that for you. Like,
what would career
too.
success as an actor? Like, what are your markers, Chibuzo, for like what does success for you? What would career success be defined as for you? Do you have like little markers of like specific goals? Is it just a feeling? What is it? Like
when
stardom.
I get to come back, no, when I get to come back and I get to like pay all my friends who really fucking supported me and like put like write a role for them and put them in a movie when I get to, and it's gonna happen. So when it happens, we'll all know. Yeah.
I fucking love that. Like that, I agree with that. To me, success, and actually it's so funny, like when I have tried to define success, I'm like, for me, success is being able to like put my friends on and think and like circulate that gratitude, like so that I can be out and see this thing that reminds me of my friend and have no question of if I can afford to just buy them that gift and send it to them. Like that's it. Like to just share it and be easeful. And and I have a Libra, my MC is Libra 11th house, so that's like all I want to do is create. And like Midori knows, Asian Kris Jenner, all I want to do is get my friends put on to their greatest dreams, and it's already happening. That's like what this is. This is a way we can do that now. This is a way we can like celebrate our friends that are stars right now. Is like, okay, if YouTube is the only route available to us right now, let's work it.
Yeah, it's really lit. I'm just like, everybody in our lives.
This feels like fucking success.
We are right now in the vibration of success and stardom, and I love that for us. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that for us.
What would you? I'm gonna do some fun questions, and then I want to give you some time to just talk about soul support.
Okay.
But can I ask you a few fun questions first?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I sent you a couple of these before. Role you have fantasized about playing. Like, what's an iconic role that you've been like, I want to do that role?
Okay. So this is corny, but I'm gonna say it. So it already happened. When I was a kid, I really loved Sherlock Holmes. Like my brother and I used to like watch like all the Basil Rathbone movies, and like I got to play him. I make this joke, like it's so dumb, but I always say like I was already Sherlock Holmes in my hometown, like local theaters production. Like fuck with me. Like there's no other role that's gonna beat that. You can't give me an Oscar. The fuck. But no, for real, like being like a final girl or like I don't know, like being like a spy, like that would really be like yeah, 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 that girl. That girl. She has to do like crazy like car stunts and like roll around in mud for some reason.
Fuck
Like
yeah.
Laura Croft.
Oh my god, now you know what my answer was going to be was Charlie's Angels, and I'm like, we need to just be the next Charlie's Angels.
Yes.
Okay.
But also I'm kind of Charlie. Okay. I don't know.
Okay. We can do both. We can do both.
Midori, do you have one?
You know, I didn't have a specific, but spy is probably like peak for me. And yeah, like warrior archetype, also warrior hero archetype, like Katniss.
Yeah,
Giving
Can
Katniss, but
you
there has to be a love interest. Like,
I was gonna say you're like a rom-com with a role, like Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I don't ever saw that movie, but the concept, like we're in love, but now I'm gonna shoot you.
yeah, but now I'm gonna shoot you. Like undercover bitch. Yeah.
What is that archetype
can you
called
not say
again?
Midori?
Femme fatale? Is that what that
Yes.
archetype? Yeah.
Yes. Can you not see Midori like in like a black and white, like she has like a fucking like I don't know, like a dramatic like turn of her face or some
In my
shit. Like I
head,
just see it.
Midori
She's gonna be on.
constantly, yeah, no, in my head when Midori exists as a woman in a convertible with like the scarf wraps that's like blowing in the
Yeah.
wind with the cat eye. Yeah, like that is how Midori exists in my head as a Hollywood icon.
Yeah.
You
Closes her
two are
door. Just like paparazzi outside. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Favorite entertainer or actor? I'm sure there's many, but
Let me go last. Let me go last. You guys go. You go, Siobhan.
Tim Curry.
who? Tim Cur Wait, who?
Tim Curry. He's like
Okay.
Frankenfurter. He was in Clue. He was in Home Alone. He's in so many iconic roles. If you look at the career of Tim Curry, I just fucking love him.
That is unexpected. I think where do you get that? Is that
That's the only one I could think of off the top of
Don't
my
know
head.
who that is exactly, but
Oh, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank.
Bruh.
Can you share your screen real
Yeah,
quick?
I'm going to.
Because I
You
don't.
go, Midori, while I look this up.
Um,
I'm low key blank
entertainer
too.
would be Amelia de Molzenberg, who interviews celebrities, like up and coming entertainers. Has a YouTube show called Chicken Shop Date, and I'm just like obsessed with her because she's witty. Her like pacing is like perfect. You can tell she like does research about like who she's interviewing ahead of time, but like is really great on the fly. Just has that like dry humor that's like really hot, deadpan dry humor, but like it's not annoying.
Mm.
Yeah.
Have you seen Chicken Shop Date, Chibuzo?
Mm-mm. I haven't.
I'll send it to you after because it's really
I haven't.
entertaining. It's just a very genius, simple concept, I feel like. Let's see.
Word. Word. Eat it.
All right, y'all.
So much.
Tim Curry. He's the clown in It. He's Rocky Horror Picture Show.
He's the clown in It.
Yep. Clue. Fern Gully. He was Annie in Annie. He
Whoa.
is just. Oops. Maybe I don't need.
Okay, I get it. Yeah.
Wait, which one is he in Home Alone? Oh,
Whoa.
yeah.
Okay, no, that makes total sense. He's a legend.
Yeah. He's dynamic. This is. Oh, here we go. There we go. You know, I actually used to be so afraid of clowns that seeing a picture of one made me like vomit.
Oh no.
Oh,
Vomit? Are you being not vomit?
He was the devil in Legend. Remember that movie that I had that I told you to watch? Okay, that's all I'll say on that. Love him. He's an icon. Back to us.
Okay, Chibuzo, what's yours? Entertainer favorite.
Or just right now. Who
of the
right
moment
now is like on
right now? Okay. On my mind. Oh, okay, easy. FK Twigs. Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, she does it all. And she does it all well. And she's like super humble. Yeah.
Yeah, she's really dynamic. I think that's it. It's like really dynamic people. I think we all have that aspect. Like, I want to play all the different roles. Okay, here's a question that I thought of that I actually hate, so I'm gonna ask it anyways. Because this question, whenever people ask it, I'm like, fuck that question. There's nobody out there that looks like me just on a physical level, but who would play you in your movie of your life?
Oh, y'all gonna hate me for this one, but I have to say it. Beyonce.
Oh, duh.
Beyonce?
Look,
Duh. That's the
I
best
know
Heard
answer
it.
you could
Yeah.
have said.
I'm always stumped. I don't have an answer because I'm just like, I don't know.
Oh, I'm trying to
This
think of
this
who.
question just always points out to me how much we need more diversity in stars.
Yeah, growing up, the only like notable Asian actress was Lucy Liu, and everyone used to call
Hold
me
on.
Liu. So
Hold on.
Please.
Siobhan. Wait a minute. Barbie Ferreira. Stop playing. Stop playing.
Okay, I could see that. I could see that.
yeah, totally.
All right, cool. I have someone now. That's going to be my new go-to answer. Thank you. Oh, you know Midori, who actually that's new is Stephanie. Is it Sue? Stephanie Sue. She's
Mm-mm.
great. She's so talented.
I would love her to play me. I approve.
But
Yeah, she's
also,
super
I get like Arena. I feel like I get Serena Sawayama for you though, Midori. I get that too. You know what I'm saying? She has that fire, that Leo, and she just started
Who
acting.
is
Oh,
that?
Yeah, I
Rina
could see
for
it.
sure. Rina's a pop star. She's a Japanese pop star. Well, she's from England, I think, or London, but she's a Japanese pop star and she's iconic. She just was she in the Bond movie or what movie was she in recently? Where she played some actor.
She was in John Wick.
John Wick, yeah.
Oh well, you know
Mhm.
John Wick. I love Keanu Reeves, so
Yeah.
that has been daddy since I was a child. So he's my other. But I think saying Keanu is my favorite actor, people always rag on him for being a bad actor. So, I don't
He
actually
has
know.
fun. Let him have fun, okay?
Yeah.
I want to have fun. I don't care about being the best actor. I want to just be I want to have
Look,
fun.
my favorite movies and actors
It's not that serious.
are like always like Rotten Tomatoes 12%. Like anytime my favorite movie, I look at it and I'm like, that's what the experts say. Fuck y'all.
The experts like boring ass, bland ass movies. Like I feel
Dry
that.
ass bitches. Like please.
Dry.
Okay. Story that you are longing to be told.
I have a lot of them.
If you got the budget, actually, let me rephrase. If you got the budget to produce one project tomorrow, what would it be?
It would be an epic party. It would be like a worldwide party.
Dang, not even a. I love that answer.
Yeah.
Because you're like, not a movie, not a production, it's a party. I fucking love that.
And we would film it. Oh my God, what if it was like a reality show that you weren't sure if it was like you're saying so Siobhan and I have dreams of producing a reality show that's you're not sure if it's a parody or not, and they just follow us around. So it's kind of like self-protective a little bit in that
yeah, like The
don't know
Office, like
real.
mockumentary.
Yeah.
We would have a great mockumentary series.
I'm calling that in. I'm calling
for fucking sure.
that. Yeah,
people already think that we're unreal anyways. Just lean into it. People already don't believe us that this is our lives.
So get it on tape.
Yep. Okay. I love the party answer. Oh, reality show you would slay at. Either competition or just whatever. For me is always The Amazing Race.
The Amazing Race, is that like where there's like two people on a team and they go across?
They're literally racing around the world doing challenges.
Most satirizing answer I've
airport
ever asked.
Basically.
Who's gonna negotiate barter? Who's gonna get that taxi?
I can just see you like them panning the camera to interview you and you just being so hype.
I would be the emotional roller coaster that they're like, what is, and then just I would definitely have a mental breakdown on reality TV, that's for sure.
And I feel like the next
Emotional.
moment cuts you just being like, And I'm fine. Yeah.
Literally, they'd be like, "Is she okay?" And like, "We're good now, y'all. We're good."
I think is Love is Blind the one where they like put you in rooms? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one Siobhan said I think I would do well
You
at.
would be amazing.
Yeah.
Actually, we should just submit
So
your
give me more
application.
plot. I don't really like know reality shows, so what exactly is the plot of Love is Blind, Midori? Like you in a room.
So they have all of these they unleash all these people into their own little cubicles, their own little pods, and in between the pods they have like these walls that they can talk to each other. Or are they
And
on
then scene,
then you
basically,
can't, yeah, they just don't see each other. So
you're
their whole
speed
time,
dating, like,
yeah.
without any seeing. Yeah. And so the
So
whole
you're
point is they give you the first few episodes of the season are always like this time frame where they're in the pods and they're dating. So they're dating everybody and then they're probably like telling the producers, "This is who I like," and the goal is to get engaged because everyone who gets engaged by the end of the pods then like goes on a vacation somewhere together, then they go back home and they give them an apartment to live in together and they have like a few weeks till their wedding where they decide at the altar, and I'm sure this is in the contract that they can't like whatever, but they at not until they get to the altar do they say if they want to marry or not, but they're engaged the whole time. So basically, would you get engaged to someone you've never seen and then say yes to them?
I would go with the intention of like getting my goal would be to get to that point, and then I would say no. Or what
Unless
if,
you
I mean,
found love.
I don't know, I could fall in love.
You totally
It could be
could.
really messy and vulnerable, and I would hate
That's the point.
it.
Because the thing that's so brilliant about that show, I honestly, in my mind of a reality TV producer, is like, oh no.
Chibuzo fell off. Okay, well, she'll probably hop back on.
But what's so brilliant about Love is Blind to me is that unlike other shows where you can like control who the cast is, there you are. Unlike shows where they cast everyone, the cast is actually they cast way more people. The people that end up carrying on are whoever falls in love, and it's either historically in like 3 or 4 seasons, it's either people who are like really really meant to be and you're like, "Whoa, they really found love." Or it's people who don't know how to say no, who bond over really like unhealthy things that then like that is the only two types of couples that make it to the end are the people that you're like, oh my God, one of you needs to say no. Like, please, the two of you cannot continue on like this. And then they're like divorced a year later.
That's amazing.
It's
That's
pretty
amazing.
amazing. Okay, so what kind of, if you don't know reality shows, what kind of reality show would you go on? Like competition, living in a house, real world? Does the real world still exist? I don't know.
No. No, I know I'd be the first bitch to race. Did you guys ever have like Discovery Kids? Did you ever have that?
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys ever watch that show, Endurance?
Yes.
What's that
Yes.
one?
It's like
Yes.
Survivor it was like
Yes.
Teenage
Oh,
Survivor.
Like those stakes though, like not like real Survivor though. I would also be the first bitch kicked off of that.
Oh
But
yeah,
like
I'd be done
teenage
for.
stakes Survivor, I would kill that shit.
so you'd be like a full-blown adult on a children's show. I love it.
Yeah. And I kick all their asses too.
No mercy.
You're like pushing the.
Oh my gosh. And then my last question was iconic people you would want to play in a biopic. Like who's like a real life figure who you would want to play?
Okay, level with me here. Billie Eilish. That's my dream. I'm already putting it out there. Okay? Because, and
I'm
I've thought
obsessed.
about this, okay? Billie and I have like the same like I could see it. I could see it. Billy, let's talk. Let's talk. When you're ready to make the movie, let's talk.
The
Let's
chill
talk. I'm
demeanor.
here.
I could see that. I heard Billie Eilish was great in a show recently, but I don't know what the show was, but she acted.
Swarm.
Ooh, that's what it's called, and I still want to watch that. Did you watch it?
I watched some of
Oh,
it, and I think it's actually funny because like she's in a show that kind of like bends like rules like that. Like Donald Glover, he made it, and he also made Atlanta, and like he kind of like makes stuff where like you would get like kind of like the mix over like I don't know. You
it's
just
like
have to watch
meta.
it to see what I
Mhm.
mean. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's like meta layers to it. That's how I feel about Vanderpump Rules right now. But if y'all are not in on the Vanderpump Rules drama, it's so meta.
Mm-mm.
Like it's a reality show that was already around their dating lives, but then it's just so ugh, I know you guys don't watch it, but you have to understand. So can I just tell you really quick
Okay.
why it's so meta? Because it's
Yes.
a reality show that's been on for like 10 years. And they're always like scrapping for plots. So what I'm pretty sure happened is that this season they used this plot that was is like these are the names. Ariana and Tom are a couple. Is Ariana's best friend cheating with Tom? And it was like, I'm 99% sure they rolled with it for the season because they just needed drama and they didn't actually believe it. But then it came out at the end that she actually
Whoa.
was. So the whole season, they're like, this is so silly. They think that we're doing this. And then after the season wrapped, it came out publicly that they actually were.
Yo.
So they had to bring the cameras back and film them like, wait a minute, bitch. You actually were
Ugh.
fucking my boyfriend the whole time? I thought this was like a bit
That's
we
good
were
mess.
doing. It's so
That's good
That
messy.
is
mess.
some magic.
Yeah.
That
It's
is like
so
spell casting.
messy.
That's spell casting.
I love mess.
That's some
Reality
big
TV.
gesture energy. Love that shit.
Mythbuster energy. Yes.
Jester energy.
Oh, I thought you said Mythbuster.
That too. I would totally be on Mythbusters.
You would
Actually, you know what
totally
I
be
I
want
see
on
all of
that.
us on?
Mythbusters.
I
I would
think
love
I
to be
see
on
us all being
Mythbusters.
in a live action remake of As Told by Ginger.
Bing, bing, bing. Yes, that's it.
Anyways, that was my last questions. Tori, do you have questions? 'Cause otherwise, I want to give Chibuzo some
No,
time
let's
to
get
share
into
about
it.
soul support.
Yeah. Share
What
more,
is soul
Chibuzo.
support? How did you get there? How can we, I don't know, how can people receive that support from you?
So soul support is it's really easy. It's really easy. I just remember I feel like most of like, figuring out this journey has been like singular. It's been very singular. Um, had to like figure a lot of stuff out on my own. I just like always think I don't think like necessarily, which is something that I really appreciate about Captolia, being mentored by her. Um, because before I've like been in other like mentor spaces and stuff, like where in coaching spaces where like I don't know, they just you are clay for their like higher vision and not like exactly like you don't like belong to yourself. And I never felt like that with Captolia. Like that was the first time, honestly, just like with any relationship that I felt like someone like believed in me to believe in me and it like unlocked a lot of shit. And I was like, wow, what if like I feel like this is like kind of I don't know, I just got to thinking if I had some kind of secondary person, before I like knew what I was doing, because I don't think that support should just be limited to people who necessarily like want to have a life coach or they want to do a business or you know what I'm saying? I think
Mhm.
that there should be some kind of midway support for people who are already strong, who are working towards something and know that and they know who they are and they they just don't want to be swayed from that, they could just literally use like a space to go and to bounce ideas off of somebody and to be like, hey, like, what do we think of this? Like a mini kind of like mastermind, you know, except it's really about that person. I dreamed this up with Cap and I didn't release it for a long time because I honestly felt like, well, I'm creating this because this feels like something that I would have benefited from, and isn't that kind of selfish just to want somebody to like have all their attention on me. But then I realized like in a lot of relationships, that's kind of what we expect from each other, is like miscommunication comes from, because like no, two separate people doing their own separate thing. But what if there really was a space where it's okay to expect that from somebody? It's okay to show up and be like, okay, I need the support. I need your gifts right now. I need this to be about me. So let's tap in and like fix this. And I feel like the value of really sharing that with somebody and like body, that's like that's like a one of a lifetime kind of dream, kind of intimacy that I feel like we're all kind of searching for and we low key don't want to ask for. But it's cool. Just
Mm,
ask for it.
dang. Yeah. So if you're listening and you are that person that, you know, knows who you are and you need that reflection, like that really is a big way that Midori and I became friends, was that kind of desire to have kind of like a mirror, someone mirror back. And I feel like you're a perfect person for that, to mirror back to people without projecting what you would want to see from others, because you are so like in your individual bag. That's like, yeah, like I am a person that can accurately reflect back to you and mirror to you what's possible in your unique way. And that's so beautiful. I love that. So necessary. I feel like there's such a necessity right now for that ongoing thing. And yeah, like, you know, Midori and I connected after a coaching container that we weren't necessarily in together, but that kind of sparked us reconnecting. And it kind of is that like, that's what soft power came from, was like, okay, like there's a lot of like activation, catalyst, do this way, make it your business, leave your life type of programs. And what people really need is to be met where they're at and have this consistent report. Because what happens after that? Like, yeah, sure, you like unleashed this part of me. And now
Hmm.
I'm like kind of a puddle of a broken, like an unraveling of my world. That's like, okay, but the process of now like re-raveling that yarn is long, and it's, you know, it goes with season. It's seasonal too. Like there's times of the month where I'm like, I'm done. I'm deleting my Instagram. I'm out. I'm whatever. And it's like, girl, you're just a Cancer that's gonna get her period tomorrow. Like you don't need to
Yeah.
do that. And if I didn't have friends who were like, let's sit, let's think this through,
It's
I
very
would have been out.
sensationalist. It's very sensationalist, the coaching industry is like, yeah, dude. Oh my gosh, I love that you named that people are coaches, and the life coach industry is all about like do things a certain way, and that you're not about that, because dang. That, I mean, I've sunk so much money into coaching programs, like thousands of dollars that I won't get back because I actually wasn't ready to like go that
Yeah,
hard.
yeah.
Yeah, or like what was delivered didn't necessarily match the expectation. I remember feeling that in one, was like, okay, I didn't really realize the point here was to like get me to create a group
Mm,
program. You know, like this isn't the route for me actually.
mm,
Did you, you know, that's why I love like looking,
mm.
y'all like look at astrology and like your individual gifts and like what is your strength? What is your energy like? Because for me, I don't have the energy in me for certain type of things.
Mhm.
Ooh.
Absolutely. And
Mm,
Midori, I just wanted to say, like, the thing about going hard, I feel like that's like, I know you don't mean it that way, but I feel like that's like the fallacy that's like sold. Like, if you don't do it our way, then you're not going hard in your way. I love that you guys created soft power. It's so necessary.
Mm. Yeah,
yeah,
I
because
mean,
there was that tone.
totally.
Oh, sorry.
No, so yeah, I'm just saying like it's totally so unique to every person, and that like you have to develop that core, that like self-worthiness and that sense of self so hard that you can like really discern what's you and what isn't you. Like what Siobhan was talking about is your gift. And I really see it now being this is our first time speaking like live. So I can see that in you, like to have that. It's almost like a pillar of self that grounds into the earth, so that you can discern like, yo, that's not for me. Like that, and that's, I think, what people need, like coaches specifically, or people who hold space need to consistently tell people is like, you need to take what resonates and leave what doesn't, especially when they're doing like group programs where they're like, they have to generalize maybe a little bit more or give more general practices.
Yeah, I think we're entering a nice era right now where a lot of people entered into this type of work a few years ago. And there's just, I think that natural cycle is ending of what like spiritual coaching kind of looked like initially in group programs. And even the people who were doing it are like, I'm not doing it anymore. And some are going the route of like, now I want more of your money to retreat in Peru. And some are going the route of, like, I'm going to focus on my creativity and just embodiment. Because, like, that's what I was going to say was like that whole tone of it was like, leave room for the people, like just get specific, I guess. Like to me, I'm like, let's just get specific and keep it real, because what I didn't like was coming out of that tone of like, if you're not seeing the results, it's because you're not working hard enough. It's because you didn't integrate what I told you and I gave you the recipe, and it's kind of on you. Say it.
What leg up do those people have to? We all know what it is. It's fine, but just be, like you said, be real about it.
I love seeing your like your fierceness come out, Chibuzo. It's like it activates something in me.
Yeah, I just need more of that. Let me stop you right there. Like, cut it right there.
I really appreciate that, y'all. I really appreciate that. Yeah. I feel like that's been like the hardest part that gets like, that gets let in. The kind of the wild part, they ask her to stay outside, so I appreciate that. Like you two are so dope, and I was so excited to be asked to be on your show. I have so much love and respect for you two and what you do. You're iconic. Your embodiments are iconic.
It's so mutual. I'm so excited to just witness each other through this journey. And yeah, so we're going to have in the description all the ways.
And it's sharing is the cards. That's perfect. I love that. Keep going, Siobhan. I keep interrupting you.
No, I feel the same. I was just going to say, if you are resonating with this, if you are desiring to let out your inner entertainer and icon, and even if that icon is like, you're not going to share it with anyone else, just for your own self, I think Chibuzo is a perfect person to support people who just are longing to be seen. And I love that you are not with the shit, that you're like, let's stop that there, like interrupt those stories, interrupt that trajectory of like heading towards smallness or, self-doubt. And you
She was on a roll, and then
I thought I was.
It's not us this time.
Okay, well, yeah. check the link in the bio for Chibuzo's offerings. We're offering soul support sessions. We do 15-minute and 30-minute sessions, right? Or 40-minute sessions, 15 and 40.
40 minutes and 15. Yeah. And for my gang at Prima Dama, if any of you slid through and like didn't see, just like hit the email, hit the DMs, let me know because I let people know in the issue if you came through and supported us. You get free 40 minutes of summer soul support whenever you want. Okay, she's and she's
She's gone.
she's gone. She's gone. Okay. But yeah, Prima Dama peeps, if you slid, just let me know and I'll set that up for you. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you so much, Chibuzo. And we'll be here. We're here every Wednesday. Next week is going to be Willa of Highly Human. We're actually going to be on, I think, at 5:11 p.m. Pacific. So join us then. And yeah, we'll see y'all next week. Thank you, Chibuzo, for being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And bye, Siobhan.